I've had a couple days to play around with my Darkwolf's Xenopixel lightsaber, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about it today on Darth Rage Reviews.
Evacuate? In our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate their chances.
Greetings, Force fans, and welcome to another episode of Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force. We'll get business out of the way first, guys. If you haven't, please subscribe. Hit that subscription button down there in the corner. And make sure to hit the bell as well so you're notified when I post videos. I post videos all the time. If you like Star Wars, if you like costumes, if you like cosplay, you'll like this channel. Do it. Everybody's doing it, guys. It's cool. I'll give you a second. All right, now let's get out of the way. Let's have some fun. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about my Darkwolf Custom Sabers Xenopixel lightsaber. I got the Obi Wan Kenobi. I've had a couple days to really play around with this thing, and I got to tell you, this thing is fun. It's a fun saber to spin. It's very sturdy. This is, dare I say, now my new favorite thin neck saber. Now that I've actually held it and played around with it, I like it better than the Luke saber. I gotta say, they are essentially the same saber. I'm going to do a quick aside here. So one of the things I used to really like about the lightsaber, the kind of genealogy, if you will, of the lightsaber is that a lot of times the master and the Padawan would have some similarities in their hilt. You know, if you look at Qui-Gon's hilt and Obi-Wan's Padawan hilt, they're very similar. You know, kind of some growth from it, and you like to think that the lightsaber influenced the lightsaber. Now I kind of feel like they did that to cover up some laziness in the original trilogy, because in the original trilogy, ultimately, they only had two lightsabers. You know, in the first movie, they had the Graflex that then they kind of bastardized to make Vader's, which I understand. That was essentially the same person's lightsaber, so I could understand you wanting to do that. But then they had Obi-Wan's when they came to Return of the Jedi, and they had a chance to make a new lightsaber for Luke. I feel like there was a missed opportunity there in designing something new. Instead, they just basically took Obi-Wan's lightsaber and used it as a base and built upon it. So that's an aside. That's neither here nor there. So it's just my personal view. Anyway, this is my Darkwolf's Customs Xenopixel Obi Wan Kenobi lightsaber. So I paid $380 for this, and I realize that's not cheap, and it's not cheap really for, you can get a Profi Neopixel lightsaber for cheaper. You can't get a Canon Profi Neopixel lightsaber for cheaper. So this is a much more affordable way of getting into the Neopixel game and getting in with a Canon hilt. So $380. What do you get for that? So it was a Canon hilt. I don't know. I think this comes on all Canon hilts. I haven't purchased a Canon hilt from Darkwolf Sabers before. So if you don't get these extras, don't sue me. It's not my fault. But I do believe you would get these. So I got this really dope carrying case. It's space for a blade in there, the saber, and a lot of accessories if you want to add them in there. There is this really cool retention key. So it's an Allen screw, an Allen wrench. But it works well, and it's fancy. It's kind of bougie, like my boy Darth Ravens has one. So now I'm like him. Came with that as well. Came with this really cool lightsaber stand. This works for lightsabers. It also works for prop guns. I use this to prop up my 3D builds. Both of those blasters fit on this as well. It's really nice. It also came with this Neopixel blade plug, and I don't have a Neopixel blade plug, so that was a big bonus as well. So I got all those pieces in there as well. I got this for a couple reasons. I wanted to try out the Xenopixel and see what it was about, and I really wanted an Obi-Wan, especially with the Obi-Wan show coming out soon. I just really wanted to get my hands on one of these before the show so I could have it handy while watching the show. So I've given this thing a run for a couple days, and I will show you in a little bit some of the effects and some of the things that it does, but I want to give you kind of my impressions on the Xenopixel, just to let you guys kind of know what I feel like this saber ultimately is. So I feel like it's ultimately a cross between a Profi and one of their, the operating, at least, kind of systems of one of their RGB sabers. So you have the same kind of turn on, turn off options that you do while the saber is off with your RGB sabers with this now. So it has the same blade styles with a couple extras. So you've got a pulse blade, a standard blade, a unstable blade. They have a fire blade, which is a new one, a rainbow blade, and then like a candy cane blade, which is a different rainbow blade. So all of those are options that you can turn on while the saber is off. So before you kind of turn on the saber. It also has ignition effects, which are really cool. There are 5 different ignition effects. And another blade style it has is Blaster Blade, which is really cool. It's just basically the blade does nothing while you're holding it there, and then you press the button and it shoots off a blaster effect of whatever the blade style is. So that's really cool. Oh, and Ghostblade. Ghostblade's another one. Sits there, does nothing. When you swing the blade color comes in. So these are all, I think it's 5 or 6 blade options that you can turn on or off while the saber is off. In addition to that, there are Prion ignition effects. I think there's 5 of those, and those are just basically sounds and effects that you can attach to any font and any blade style that you have on here. Again, it's done while the saber is turned off. You can either have those effects on there or not have those effects on there. All of these reviews, by the way, are as the saber comes out of the box. I have not yet unplugged this or plugged this thing in, taken the SD card out and attached it to a computer and done any of those adjusting yet. So this is all, my review here is all based on this saber out of the box. So one of the cool things about this, and what might be one of the reasons you would want to try this, is that it's much easier to upload new fonts to this lightsaber than it would be to a Profi lightsaber. For a Profi lightsaber, in order to do that, you kind of need to know how to program a config file, flash the board. It requires a couple different pieces of software, and it can be difficult for newcomers. So if you don't know how to do that, you can actually purchase lightsaber fonts that you see people reviewing, and it's something that you hear that doesn't come on a standard saber. You can purchase that, and you can load that into this saber. There's actually a really good video out there. My good friend Sam at Absolute Sabers, I'm going to actually put a link up here to what he's got. This is an extensive video, and I'm doing my finger here so it makes it easy for me to find this point while I'm editing. He's got an extensive video on how to upload sound fonts to a Xenopixel, so go check that out if you have any questions about that. It'll really go into detail on how to do it. But this gives you that option without having to go into all of the difficulties that some people have with Profi. So that's this lightsaber in a nutshell. What do you get in it? Well, you get all of those effects, and you get 20 sound fonts. I've got got it pulled up. Actually, you get 30 sound fonts, 20 that come already installed, and another 10 that are on the soundboard or on the SD card. So you get 30 fonts with this lightsaber as well, and it comes loaded with Kylo Ren, Rey, the Darksaber, Cunning Warrior, which is a Obi Wan font, Darth Maul, Talon Malicos. He's a character, one of the Dark Jedi from Fallen Order. Ben Solo, Dark Rey, Tyrannus, which is the Dooku font, the Bold, which is another Obi-Wan. Sorry, Cunning Warrior is not Obi-Wan. I'm not sure who Cunning Warrior is. Somebody knows who Cunning Warrior is. Tell me in the comments. The Bold, Darkness, Return of the Jedi, Cal Kestis from Fallen Order, Royalty, which is the Leia font, Darth Revan, Starkiller, Ascension, The Last Jedi, Stasis V2, and Phoenix V2. Shout out to my boy Darth Phoenix. Makes some awesome fonts. That all comes loaded on it, and then the 10 extra fonts that are on the SD card are Luke Skywalker, Darkwolf, another Phoenix font, The Father, which is a Vader font, the Butcher, which is the Dark Side Revan, Bumblebee, which is from, I'm assuming, the Transformers movie, the Collector, which is General Grievous, Corvus Bounty, that's an Ahsoka font, a Sword font, the Maul from Brian Connor, and Protocol, which is a C3PO font. So those are all the fonts that come on this. So I'm going to now change the lighting up, pop a blade in here. I'm going to give you guys an example of really what the effects do, so you guys kind of have an idea of what this does and how to operate it. And then I'll come back, give you guys my feelings and my reviews, and give you guys a kind of a number rating on what I feel about this lightsaber and the new Xenopixel system. All right, so I'm going to take you through some of the functions that they have here. So like any LGT saber, you just turn it on like this. This is the steady blade profile with just a standard ignition. So all of the functions are accomplished on. Also, there is a thrust on function as well. So let's see if I can. There you go. So you can thrust it on, thrust it off. It's a little bit finicky on that. Typically, if you pull back before you thrust out, it works a little better. So all of the functions are changed while the saber is off. And this one, it's done by flashes on the button. However, like many of the Canon ones, the button is covered up on this. So you kind of got to time it out and guess. For 1 second, it's the sound effects. You can go from loud, quiet to mute. 2 seconds are the blade effects. And you've got a standard blade, a pulse blade, a fire blade, a ghost blade, a blaster blade, a rainbow blade. I think I'm probably pulse blade too. You got several different blade styles, and that's through 2 seconds. And then 3 seconds, you cycle through all of the Prion effects. 4 seconds are the fonts. So I'm going to take you through the different the different blade styles so you can see what those look like, and then the different Prions so you can see what those look like.
Pulse.
So this is the pulse blade. You see it just kind of pulses in and out. Very simple.
Rainbow blade.
The rainbow blade. Everybody likes the rainbow blade. Unstable. This will give you a seizure. Fire blade. It's kind of unstable, just a little bit slower. Good for Kylo Ren sound font.
Steady.
And then back to steady. Changing fonts. So then, let's see what some of the Prions look like. 1, 2, 3.
Pulse.
That's pulse. 1, 2, 3.
Rainbow blade.
Rainbow blade.
Unstable.
2, 3.
Fire blade.
2, 3.
Steady.
Okay, so that is all of them. So,
pulse. Blaster blade.
Okay, so this is one of the Prions, it's blaster blade, and this one's really cool. When you ignite it, nothing happens on the blade until you press the button, and then it shoots it out like it's a blaster. That one's fun. All right, come on now. So, cool little effect. Ghostblade. So this again is a Prion. If you don't move the blade, nothing happens, but when you move it, the font comes in there. So I like that they have that under the Prion effect, so you can add that to any blade style that you want. Nothing happens while you're still, but when you move it, it ignites. So pretty cool. And then they've got several like that without any say, but you can see that one kind of ignites like that. Really cool. And all of these Prions come with the sound attached to it. Also very cool. So you can attach this to any sound font and have any kind of combination that you want with blade styles and all of that. This is same thing. That one stacks up. And these Prions are all something that you can do in FET's editor with a normal Profi. It normally wasn't available unless you had a Profi. That one's cool. Kind of came from the top and the bottom. And maybe all of them. Changed fonts accidentally. Changed fonts again.
Rainbow blade.
That's another one. Another very cool one, kind of expands from the outside. So it's one of my frustrations with this particular hilt is you can't see the flashing of the buttons, so sometimes you end up changing the blade color style when you're wanting to change the Prion effect. It gets to be a little bit annoying.
Standard blade.
So then we're back to the standard. So those are the different Prion effects that you have with this. Overall, you know, really cool. Really cool. I like all the choices. I like all the choices that you have pre-ignition, post-ignition. I like the different options that it gives you. And, you know, it's a very cool-looking lightsaber with many of the bells and whistles that you would get with a full Profi lightsaber. So I'm going to take the blade out. I'm going to put the blade plug back in, get this set back up, and I'll give you guys my full final review of the Xenopixel from Darkwolf Custom Sabers. All right, so you see how it all works. You know, it's got all the bells and whistles, most of the bells and whistles, and you can ultimately almost make any type of blade style or blade that you want. So very, very open-ended on the options for that. The fact that you can load your own sound fonts to this really make it really, really cool as well. Again, I haven't done that, so that's really not a part of what goes into my rating here. So positives, all the different blade style choices and the Prions that they give you, very cool. The 30th sound fonts that come on this, incredible. And the ability to load your own sound fonts, all big positives. Price point, it's looking at like $100, $150 cheaper than a Profi. That's awesome, and that could really make the difference for a lot of people. This is $380, and you got all those extra bells and whistles that I showed you. It's a Canon Obi Wan hilt. It's a really nice hilt, really good quality. So I'd be very happy with that. So that's a positive as well. So those are two really good positives. Negatives for me are just the overall operation. You know, I wish that in order to change the colors with the having to hold the button down and turn it, it doesn't feel very intuitive. I don't like the fact that the blade color stays on whatever blade color you had. I understand Sam tells me that you can actually assign a blade color to a font when you do load sound fonts on there. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that. I wish you could load the Prions on or off on certain fonts, because I just don't find it's not intuitive to have to go all the way back out and then, you know, find your way around like that. Every other problem I have with this is all simply based on the hilt style. The sound for this thing is not the best, but I have the same problem with my Luke Skywalker hilt, and I don't know if maybe we drilled bigger holes in this, it would make a difference, but if it's the speaker that's in that automatically because it's an LGT hilt, I don't know. But the sound is just not the best. It's not super loud. You know, so that's a deterrent. And then the other deterrent is the fact that I can't see the buttons when I'm operating. And you're relying on flashes of a button to time everything. So you sometimes are trying to go 3 flashes and you go 4 flashes, or trying to go 2 flashes, you go 3 flashes. So that gets a little bit annoying at times as well. And those are really ultimately my only complaints about it. So what do I give this number-wise? Number-wise, I'm going to give it a good, 3.75. It's almost a 4 for me. And that's simply because I've already cracked the Profi code. And so this saber almost does what I want it to, but I can do it with my Profis just as easy. It's not difficult for me to do it, and I actually enjoy doing it with the Profi. So that's the only reason I'm not giving this a higher rating. If you have no interest in getting into Profi or don't want to do that, but still want to have those really cool blade effects, cool Prions, cool stuff like that, gestures, the gestures that are available with it too, then yeah, this is actually going to be probably ranked higher in yours, and it's a good purchase. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. Will I get another one? I don't know. I don't know that I need another one, simply because, one, I'll be able to play with all I want, see what I can do with it. But for me, if I get another one, I'm going to get another Profi, because that's just more fun for me, being able to completely design the blade styles to go with the fonts the way that I want to. But all in all, great purchase. Very happy with this purchase, and I'll give it a solid 3.75 out of 5. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. It's a review of the Xenopixel from Darkwolf Custom Sabers. This is the Obi Wan hilt. It's available on their website, $380, and I feel it's well worth the purchase. If you put a link to their website in the description. Go check them out. They've got much more affordable ones. They got some that are a little more expensive as well, but they've got a wide selection. You can get this thing in about 2 weeks. That's what it took for me to get it. That's been standard for everything I've gotten for Darkwolf. So Johnny typically delivers on the times posted on the website. So if you're interested in a website or a saber, Darkwolf is a really affordable place to go purchase a LGT saber. Plus, they just added Golden Harvest boards to their site. So I know I said no more LGTs, but I really want to try a Golden Harvest. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today, guys. As always, I am Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.